Apparently, this little device is capable of increasing the horsepower in my Tesla by 50, as well as give me access to new information and controls that I don't currently have right now, which it does through their dashboard app. This is what's called the teslogic Performance Boost modification, or upgrade. There are two other models. There's a version 2, which is all the information and controls that you don't have now, yet without the extra horsepower. And then they have the Pro Performance model, which can increase up to 150 horsepower, which also gives you the maximum amount of extra features. Now, a few years ago on the channel, we reviewed the first version of this. Hundreds of you purchased it and loved it. The new information it provided, people found was very useful. And now they're giving us an increase in horsepower. But at what price? Now, I did a little research on what it would take for like a BMW or an equivalent to increase their horsepower by 50 to 150 horsepower. And I don't know the first thing about this, so those of you who know what it takes to actually increase horsepower of a car, you're gonna have way more information on this than my quick research. However, what I found was that it takes about $2,000 to $5,000 to increase it close to 50 miles per hour with bolt-on options, things like cold air intakes, performance exhaust, headers, that sort of thing. And if you add things like forced induction, it can cost upwards of over $10,000. Now, I don't know what all that means that I just said, but what I can tell you is that if this does increase it by 50 to 150, which it says it does, you can do it with the Boost model for under $800, and under $1,500 you can do the Performance model for 150 horsepower. So obviously when teslogic reached out, I'm like, yeah, let's try this out. Now, fortunately, there is not a whole bunch of modifications or anything you have to do to your car to make this work. Here's all it is. All you need is one relay and one little control unit. If you have an Intel MCU like I have in my 2019 Model 3, which is what we're going to be installing this in today, it's a lot more work than it is with the Ryzen MCUs. What we're going to do today is we're going to go down underneath of the front wheel wall, kind of behind the glove box where there's a computer up there. We're going to unplug the plug that looks just like this. I've done this like 5 times already. It's a pain in the butt. You literally have to do a headstand in your car. We're going to plug this end in where the OEM one is plugged in. Then we're going to plug the OEM wire into this one, completing the full circuit again. And now we have this additional cord right here, which is going to access all the information of the car. And then that's going to plug into the teslogic control unit. And that's all you have to do. That's it. That's the entire thing. Then what's going to happen is we take our phone app, and on here we have the toggle switch to turn on the boost. So you don't always have to have it on if you don't want to. You can turn on the boost as well as get access to all the other information. Now, if you have a car with a Ryzen MCU, there's a different spot you do this at. It's much easier. It's just to the right side of the passenger foot area. You just pull that panel off. There's an OBD port right there, and you're able to connect directly into it. Simple. I mean, you can watch one of like 13 videos on my channel of me doing that. It's very easy, but I want this in my car. So yeah, we're gonna do the hard way again. They do give you a little stand for your phone, so when you're using it in dashboard mode, you can have it there as well as charge. It looks like this. It's just a little piece that sticks on top of your steering wheel, as well as an MagSafe charger. So we'll just kind of stick that to it right there. Plugs it into the USB-C port, and you get some charge while you're using the dash. It's optional. You don't have to have that on. So I'm really eager to go try this out. I haven't used this yet. So let's go out to the car. Let's install it. Let's kind of take it out, get some first impressions, see if we really notice the additional speed. We'll go through and try out some of the different features that are being added on. We'll take a look at the app and see all the different display and information that's on there. So let's get this installed. So the first thing you're going to do is come and pull all the little clips that are holding on that lower panel in the passenger foot area. Now mine only has 2 because I've lost them all, but yours should have somewhere around 5. Once that is done, disconnect the light wire as well as the speaker wire and then set the panel aside. All right, now this next part is almost impossible to record, but you're going to try to grab that clip on the top there. You're going to pull it out, and that's when you're going to be swapping out for the relay included with your package. So that is a male, and you're going to be pulling out of there the OEM clip. You're going to plug that into the female portion of the relay that came with the kit, and then plug the other end of the relay, the female end, back into the OBD port there we just removed the other clip from. And when I say contortionist, I wasn't kidding. You have to literally flip yourself and do a bit of a barrel roll into your passenger seat. And once you're in there, then you have to figure out how to get your arms at the weird angle to reach up there. And to be honest, it's all finger strength. You're really not getting your hand up there. So yeah, you can do it, but just give yourself a little bit of patience and time. The first time I did this probably took me somewhere around 10 to 15 minutes to get it figured out how to even get my hand there. But this time was about 2 minutes. And then, of course, when you're just about to start cussing out every inch of the car, your son comes home and wants to have a full conversation with you about something else. Oh, and one little tidbit, use a headlamp so you can actually see down there. Trying to hold a light or flashlight does not work. Once you get that done, you're going to connect the little teslogic control module there, and then you're just going to basically reverse everything you did to take it off. Connect the speaker, don't forget to connect the light, and then put it all back together. From there, I went and installed the little mount that they provide you with. Just remember to put it on the part that slants down behind your steering wheel. From there, I went and installed the app, and it instantly connected to the device. I put it up on the mount, and I was ready to give this a try. All right, now the first thing I want to do before I get out there and actually try this is put it into boost mode. Looks like if I swipe to the right, that's map. That's not what I want. Swipe to the left, and there you have all that. Extremely cool way of looking at what's happening, where your battery is powering. It's powering the front motor, apparently lights, and climate control, which is true. That's what I have on. So if I turn climate control off, you see it disappears right there, and now it is only showing it going to the lights. And I wonder if that's because I have my foot on the brake, why it's displaying the lights. Who knows? Let's see if I can find where I actually turn this boost mode on. Swipe over here. Boost mode right there. All right, here we go. We're about to swipe it on. Please, car, do not blow up. Well, I guess it's on. First, let's go do a little drive without it and just kind of get a feel for acceleration, and then we'll turn on boost mode. Turn that back off. All right, now the neat thing about this is, again, you see so much data that you just don't get anywhere. I don't know how they're getting it. Some of you might know. Swipe over to the left here again. I can see all the power where it's going. Like right now I can see I'm using my rear motor because this is a dual motor car, or all-wheel drive Model 3. All right, so if I swipe again, now you can see how much horsepower I'm using. Again, it's not going to change much with how much I'm using, I don't think, when I accelerate, but we'll go give it a shot. I have this spot in my neighborhood that's like super flat, and we'll just see if I can notice much of a difference here. There's a spot where like nobody lives, and that's where I'm gonna go and just get on it a little bit and see if I notice it. It's hard to find any place around here in suburbia where we have this opportunity. And I see that the blinker does come on too when I tap it, turn it on in the car. So it says right now I am using 18 to 20 horsepower. That's gonna be pretty cool to see what it does when I accelerate without it, how much horsepower is actually being used. I mean, the extra 50 is cool, but I think honestly, because I don't hardly ever even accelerate or drive fast, I think one of the coolest parts about all of this is just going to be all this extra information I can see on here. All right, so here I go. I'm gonna pull back out on the road here. Again, this is just, so I floor it here, hit 500 horsepower, almost 470 or something, like some crazy like that. All right, so now I know how that feels. Let's turn around, and then I will try that again. So I think what I do is I swipe all the way over here, all the way to the far left, go to boost. So boost is now on. I'm back on horsepower. All right, car, you're supposed to be 50 horsepower faster. This is a terrible way to judge this. I have no idea how you're supposed to judge this other than just how I feel. And you know, you want to feel like it's different, right? Like you want your mind to like, I just, I put this in, did all that work to put it in, I want to feel different about it. So it's like, is it really different? I mean, 50 horsepower is a lot, but I have no way of rating it or judging if it actually is or not. I can tell you that this dash is incredibly cool. But let's see here. I'm going to flip around again, and we're going to accelerate up this hill. No cars around, no one lives on this road, and let's just see if I notice any difference. All right, here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1. Jeez, it's fast as freaking heck, right? Oh, I'll never get sick of that. But I don't, again, it was fast before too. That is definitely fast. Do I notice a difference? I think it's gonna just take time, I guess. What I can tell you, this one spot I do feel a little bit different is at higher speeds. Like when I was going 40 and then just accelerated, it felt like I had a little bit more to pick up the speed than I did on the other. But again, so much of this is, do you really? Are you just sort of feeling that? Is it really true? I mean, obviously 50 is faster, so that's good. But let's take a look at some of these others while we're driving around here. So again, we've seen this screen a bunch of times. This one's a really popular one. Super cool, show where your power is going. This is probably a lot safer place to do this. Let's go park and then we'll go over the rest of the stuff on this dashboard. Okay, so let's do a deep dive here into what all is included on this dashboard, because there's a lot. And to be honest, I don't really know what a lot of this stuff probably is to the extent that you guys want to know about it. But we got this tab. So on the far left, we have all these different settings. We have preheat the battery. So if you want to manually get your battery preheated, if you're on your way to maybe a charging station, supercharger, or you just want your battery ready to go for when you get in the car, you can now manually just turn it on. You got this chill kick down. If you tap on that, it tells you what it is, which is pretty cool. What it basically does is if you're in chill mode, for example, and you have this enabled, if you press in the accelerator and you're down more than 80% of your power, it'll jump into sport mode. So it kind of like overrides chill mode. And then after 30 seconds of you not being at that top speed of over 80%, it'll back right back down to chill mode again. So that's another little additional feature. Obviously, we want to do that. Snow or ice mode, this makes it so it distributes the power equally 50-50 between the different motors. It says this mode distributes torque evenly between the axles in a 50-50 ratio, significantly reducing the likelihood of skidding. That's pretty cool. Looks like we got some autopilot tweaks here that we can enable. Like this mod is like, you totally plug it in and you can go in there and like customize your car like I've never seen before in a Tesla. I mean, look at all this. You can enable old style autopilot hands-on rules, so basically disabling the camera so you have to actually put torque on the wheel. You can change the delay between how often you have to actually put your hands on the wheel with this slider. Don't restrict autopilot with speed limit. And there's a little notification there. It says eliminates autopilot speed limit sign restrictions on select roads. Helpful in cases where the car misreads road signs or receives inaccurate map data. That's pretty cool. We got some regenerative braking control. So I guess you can turn it on and change how much regenerative braking you have going on. Again, something we've never been able to do. Winter wipers. It says park wipers to service position when cold. So that service position means it comes out from basically underneath the hood, allowing you to be able to grab them and like snap the ice on or wipe the ice off. And then it also allows you to adjust at what temperature it is actually going to come up there and do that. I assume this is Celsius, so 4 degrees below freezing is what it's displaying right now. I mean, that right there is a huge addition to the car to be able to do something like that. Like so many things that I've seen already in this app should be just native in the Tesla. Like when a temperature gets a certain degrees below, have the wipers pop up in a service mode so they're not stuck down there and you can't get your hands down there to free them up when they're frozen to the windshield. Super cool. Nice little option. Now here's one that comes with the boost mode, anti-ticket speed limit. What is that? The script will restrict the power of the motors when the speed of the vehicle exceeds the current speed limit, plus the user threshold to prevent any fines. The power limit can be overridden at any time by pressing the accelerator pedal beyond 50%. Okay, so I guess this could be kind of good when like I'm training my kids how to drive because they're going to learn to drive in my Tesla. And so you can make it so if you go over the speed limit, it literally cuts the power to the car. Man, that's cool. Now we got this track mode as well where you can adjust how you want your car to perform, which is interesting because I don't have a performance vehicle, so I'm assuming that changes that for me so I can access some of those features I didn't have before. Now if we go over to the next screen, we got about our car. We can see our VIN numbers, the birth date, which is something that's really interesting, that it's 6/17 in Fremont. 2019 is when my car was born. That's cool. I did not know that. We can take a look at the car. You can see what version of autopilot you're on, me 3.0. Take a look at the battery. You can see your overall health. You can see 313 charges. My overall health is in fair mode. That's not good. And I've already had degradation of 13.4%. But my car, again, you saw how old it is. I mean, I'm probably degrading my own body at a faster rate than that. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. And then we got this cells in balance here, which I have no idea what that is. I hope that doesn't mean my car is going to blow up. but it says 4MV. That's pretty cool. It almost makes me want to go plug this into our newer Model Y and see what it says for that. If we go to energy here, how much energy I've saved through regenerative braking, 22%. That's kind of a cool stat. And on average, I consume 9.4 kilowatt hours per day of energy. Pretty wild. And again, swipe over the gear you're in, 0 to 60, 0 to 40. Ratings on that. Not sure how exactly to, test that kind of thing out. Slide over again. We got what controls we're using. So if I go down here and turn on my heated seats, we should see that kick in right there, but it's hot right now, so let's get that turned off. And I like how it shows us here that on this entire drive, since I've been in here, how many kilowatts I've used. And if we click on this refresh button in the top right, it'll wipe it all out. So at any given time, we can reset to see what kind of energy we're actually draining. That's going to be really handy for when I'm testing out different accessories in the future. Swipe one more time, and we have the main dashboard with our range, current trip, odometer, energy being used, all of that. And then again, to the far right is the navigation. All right, now since I did a horrible job showing you what the extra 50 horsepower looked like, I just don't really know how to actually show that in my environment. Let me tell you what it's supposed to do. Now, according to teslogic, if you have a Model 3 long range, the Pro Boost will do 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds instead of the factory 4.4 seconds, which is a 5-second increase. If you have the performance, it's 3.5 seconds. If you have a Model Y long range, you see an even bigger difference. You go from 5 seconds factory down to 4.2 seconds. And if you have the Model 3 standard range with the 980 motor, not the LFP battery, you'll go from 5.5 seconds down to 4.9. So then the question comes up, how do you know if this actually fits your car or not? teslogic reached out to me originally to test out the Pro Performance option, but both my Model Y and my Model 3 didn't qualify, not the right motor. And they do something that's pretty cool to make sure that you know for sure if it fits or not. On their website, they have this compatibility checker. You put in your VIN number and your email, and then they will check it for you and send you a confirmation whether you do or do not qualify for the performance model. Most likely you will qualify for the boost model, which is what I was able to get. Also, teslogic has some precautions for you. They say that it is possible that a future Tesla software update may cause teslogic Pro functions to be disabled. That doesn't mean you're going to lose it forever. It just means they may have to come up with a software update themselves to counter whatever Tesla update came out that actually stopped it from working. In terms of the warranty, it's like any other products that we install or modifications we put on our cars. Tesla warranties the stock OEM stuff that comes on the car. So if you change it, you can risk the warranty for that portion of the car not working. Because this is directly impacting the entire performance of the car, there's a good chance if you took this to Tesla, they would say, well, this is on your car, we're not going to work on it. So teslogic recommends, as we have done with all of our modifications, that before you go there, unplug it, take it off your car, and then take it there, and then you won't ever have any issue. And if you go there and you have it in your car and they deny you, you could always leave, disconnect it, put it back to OEM standard, and then go back and they have to work on your car. Now, one thing to be very careful of is that if you already have the acceleration boost upgrade, you've already gotten that straight through the Tesla app or however you got it, the Pro Boost model is not compatible with that, probably because it's trying to give you the acceleration you've already received. It's only compatible with the Pro Performance model because you're getting that extra horsepower up and over and beyond what the acceleration boost provides. So this isn't going to stack on top of the acceleration boost you've already paid for. So for somebody who already has that acceleration boost, you're going to be looking more at that version 2 option to just get all that information sent to you on that app like we just went through. Okay, so now after spending time with this, how do I actually feel about this whole setup? I definitely like all the information. That's really cool. Does it totally impact my life to know it all? Probably not, but I will certainly use some of those functions that it offers, and it's really nice to see some of the information about your car, such as the health of your battery, especially if you're an analytical person that likes to check that kind of stuff and will do it frequently. The extra horsepower is the big question. Someone like me who doesn't really drive fast, doesn't even use half the horsepower my car currently has, it's probably not that big a deal. I already feel like my car has a lot of power as it is. If I'm in a tight situation in traffic or whatever, I have plenty of boost to get where I need. So an extra 50, I don't feel like that's going to change my life at all, especially not 150. I know there's a lot of people out there that like every bit of power they can get in their cars, so for them, they're going to see value differently than I do. As I mentioned earlier when I did my incredible amount of detailed research on ChatGPT, spending under $1,000 for 50 horsepower seems like a pretty good deal. But let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Do you find value in unlocking the total potential of your Tesla? I'll put all the information down below in the description. Let me know if you have any questions. There's a chance I might know the answer, and I'll see you on the next one.